Hello, everyone. It is the Prophet Michael David, aka Aries, and I hope at least everyone's being safe and try not to get killed. Okay, today was supposed to be like a filler day, and it was supposed to be about Brock Purdy because we are both graduates of Iowa State, and he's been getting a lot of support and hate from people, and I just wanted to throw in my prophetic 2 cents about him. But that's hence why I'm wearing this shirt. Since I've told you guys, including the last video, I am also a graduate of Iowa State. Barely. I barely have a bachelor's degree. 2.00000 something 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 GPA. Almost prime, not quite. But because of the recent activities, the war, both in Ukraine and in the Middle East, I would this is going to make more. I saw more signs from God, including today is an eclipse. All right, today, October 14th, 2023, was an annular eclipse, which could be seen in the southwest of the United States, but obviously it was online as well. And I knew the term, but okay, number one, this is not something that I knew before today. There wasn't anything that popped up in my YouTube feed or anything. Sometimes that happens, but it was just kind of one of those things that I saw when God wanted me to. And so I watched the whole NASA feed, including the actual eclipse itself. And the thumbnail of this video is at exactly 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's almost perfect. And that's why I used it as the thumbnail, because the actual perfect second or the perfect minute of the annual eclipse was at 2:22 Eastern Standard Time, and that's the one I just posted. But like they instead of doing the full screen, they went to like El Paso, did the split screen, everything, which kind of screwed it up. But yeah, 2:22 is the exact time. It looks perfect and everything. But that's why I called this video God is watching you all, because yeah, she sees everything that's going on the planet. It's just a bunch of Adam and Eves and Cains at the moment. And so, in that light, this is obviously coming back to the Israel and Palestine thing. War going on right now. Not to take away against the Ukraine Russia war right now. That is a different thing, and I will probably address that on a different day. But this video kind of segues into I got to do the last 4 days of the 36 days of Armageddon. Actually, the last 4 days are the 4 days of Armageddon. So, um, but this video is supposed to segue into that just because of the most current conflict. And so, for as corny as this sounds, I'm going to post screenshots of one of my favorite Nikki Heaton songs that is integral to a story that I'm going to tell you in the near future. But it's one of the best songs for conflict resolution for anybody. Israel, Palestine, Ukraine, Russia, you know, the schism that the United States currently has. So here's, I did the lyrics video, and these are like the two most powerful lyrics, although I would encourage you to actually look up the video and listen to it a couple times. Put that shit on repeat if you need to, because it tells you a lot about human beings and how we truly are. All right, there was a short pause in this video because I got a phone call from my aunt, my dead mother's sister. Uh, she's a really good woman. I love her. I talk to her about once a week or once every 2 weeks. I'll talk about her in the future, but um, yeah, she was part of today. All right, but now, um, kind of in a second chorus from my Stop Fighting video, I'm gonna shit on the Israelis and the Palestinians, and I'm gonna shit on the Israelis first. Here we go. All right. Under the assumption that you actually watched that YouTube video, to reiterate Trevor's point and add a bit of my own, um, the Israeli Palestine conflict has always been very much like a big brother punching down on a smaller one. But at the same time, it's kind of even worse than that. Not for the Palestinians, for the Israelis. I mean, morally. You were very rich, very productive, very smart people, and all that. And that Iron Dome is the best invention that you've ever had for your current situation. It's purely defensive. It just knocks down rockets. And if you had spent all of your resources and money to improve that, it wouldn't have mattered if the Palestinians fired a million rockets at you. It could have knocked it all down. But you didn't do that. You bought a whole lot of other weapons from other countries, including the United States, including tanks, all of the helicopters, but mostly you bought those fighter jets, right? The F-35s, the F-16s, and those are not defensive in any way. Those things are just meant to kill people from the sky. That's what they do. And yeah, so in a way, as sad as it sounds, is, you know, you may not have wished to be attacked, and there's very complex reasons, but if you'd bought less F-35s and more Iron Dome stations, you know, so many people wouldn't have got killed. And so now we go to the Palestinians, the Palestinian supporters, and let's be honest, the Muslims. Um, that is a clip under the assumption that you watched it from 1995 of the prophet Tupac Amaru Shakur talking about how he refused to take a role in a movie because that role portrayed a Muslim gangster. And he was saying, like, I refuse to portray a role that does not exist. There's no such thing as a Muslim gangster. Well, that might not have been true in 1995, but it's definitely true today. Hamas isn't a religious group. They're just a bunch of Muslim gangsters. They're just a bunch of Muslim gangbangers. That ringleader or whatever, the mastermind, what was this, the guest or whatever it was called, the guy that was a militant back in the day and did a bunch of terrorist attacks, and then for some reason decided to get married and actually have kids, and then they got hit by a supposedly Israeli attack, and well, it probably was that, and his wife and daughter were killed, and he lost his arm and leg. And then he decided that he just wanted to go out like all psychopaths do and kill as many people as possible. So he hatched a plan where on the Sabbath, you know, they would attack and they would kill a bunch of Israelis, take a bunch of hostages, and in the end, his plan is only going to get more Muslims killed than Jews, and he just didn't give a fuck. That is the noteworthy aspect of every psychopath, is they just want revenge. They don't care about any of you. His entire plan was only about getting as many people killed as possible, and he didn't care if they were Palestinians or Israelis. He didn't care if they were or other or Jewish or Muslim. He just wanted as much death before he died himself. All right, and now it may seem a little weird with the tenure of this video, but let me just say I do these things on instinct when she wants me to, and a lot of the screenshots that I showed you have just been stuff that popped up the last few days, so I knew that I needed to make a video like this. Like I said, it's supposed to be about Brock Purdy. that being said, she wants me to tell you, like, number one, why you should listen to me as a self-proclaimed prophet. I am a prophet. Um, but like, what's the difference between a Moshe, a Moses, and an Israel, he who struggles with God? So it's kind of like this. Moses himself, to me at this point, was more of an Israel, but not near as much of a Moshe as I am. Let me explain. We talked about his name, how Moses means I drew him from the water. It's what Bithia said when she drew him from the Nile. But in its ultimate aspect, it means it's kind of like God talking to you. It's like, I drew you from the water. Um, I am your mother now. You are my Adonai. And so, therefore, being saved by God, then later on, God called on Moses to do his duty. And Israel is something different. Jacob, in his own way, isn't Israel, but that was with the angel of the Lord, not with the actual Lord. So even though named the first Israel, he's, like I said, even God, Hashem, told Moshe that she hid some things from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. She did. And then, but she also said she was going to hide some stuff from Moses because Moses wasn't Mashiach when she decided to go with the Israelites. But she had Moses go out onto the rock, stand away from me, do not look at me, you cannot see my form. You can only see the back of me, because only the Mashiach will be able to see my true form as she shows it to a mortal, not her true form. But yeah, that's a different story, like a couple videos in the future. Um, but yeah, and Israel is like way more complicated. And like Moses is the only one that would understand, just she's right there all the time, like 5 feet away. So struggle with God just means like you know God on a personal level, and she's just with you every single day, and you can talk to her, and the angel of the Lord too. That's the difference between me and Moses, is that I'm not sure that he could discern totally between the angel of the Lord and the Lord, where I can. The Lord is always the voice, it's the unphysical, um, the universe, the creator. But the angel of the Lord is the one that's actual the manifestation. Which brings me into the next. I know this is like the longest segment I've ever done, which brings me into the next part. So if you've ever wanted to know what to deal with them both or together is like, and like I said, Moses is the only other person that's ever walked this earth that can be able to tell you how this feeling is. This video is a very good description of it. It's the Disney movie about Moses from whatever 15 years ago. So enjoy. I might do a little bit of talking on the back end, but this is like the culmination of the video. If you ever want to know what it's been like, not just to be a prophet, but to be a Moshe, an Israel, just that connected with God more than any other human on the planet, um, yeah, this is what it's like. All right, under the assumption that you actually watched that YouTube video, and yeah, it's pretty awesome. Like, I still get tears in my eyes and goosebumps and everything every time I watch it. That being said, rule number one, as always, do not touch other people without their consent, aka do not hurt each other. And rule number two, it's all about honesty. Lies are a tick down, aka try not to lie. All right. I'll talk to you guys later.